Hello and welcome to that British Homestead. My name is Nick and today I thought we'd talk about conserving water in winter. So let's get started. In winter we still want to conserve water. Why do we want to conserve water? I'll show you why. Because there's loads of ice to be contending with. As you can see, ice. It means that they're turning the taps off down the allotment if you've got taps. That means that you're going to have to contend with frozen ground and frozen hose pipes, which are not great, are they? No. So you're going to have to either bring water up to the allotment, or better yet, you can conserve it. Now, how can you conserve it? I'll show you. Best way to conserve it is by getting a water butt. Water butts are always suggested on an allotment, and I keep all my water butts over here. Now, ultimately, and I'll be probably doing this year, conserving water off my greenhouse. I'm just going to show you my other butts. Do you see them behind me? It's full of butts. And it's a great way of conserving water and holding water. Pots for rainfall are really great. Now, I don't just keep rainfall in my butts. Oh no, my butts have more potential than rainfall, don't they? I'm going to fall over. And I'll show you what I'm doing. As you can see, now this is where it falls off the tripod. Ooh, that is my tea. Stinks. So what do I use all of this water for? I can tell you, watering all my seedlings this time of year. This time of year, I've got a lot of seedlings. It looks like it's spring. Look, I'll show you. This time of year, because it's winter, we don't actually need to water the allotment. We need to water the greenhouse. As you can see, there's absolutely tons of little seedlings in here that need water. Do you see them? Okay, 2 layers. And because I don't have my hose, it's important for me to have some way of getting water down here. Okay, now if you're anything like me, you're never going to remember to bring water down the allotment. But when I'm at home and I've got loads of seedlings lighting up at home, especially when it thaws out, the way I conserve water, and I think this is rather genius, because I get a lot of water because of the ducks. And what do the ducks do in the water? That's right, they poo in it. Now, duck water is fabulous stuff. Why is it fabulous stuff? I'll tell you. Because it's cold compost. Yes, cold compost. And we talk about this quite a lot, don't we? There's 2 different types of compost. There's hot compost and there's cold compost. Now, cold compost is a bit like duck compost. Is very cold when it decomposes. Put that straight on your plants. Now, would I put a load of duck water onto a lettuce and eat it? Probably not, no, because it's gross. But I will use it for young seedlings, and I will use it for things that I don't directly eat. For example, corn. So that's a really great use. And it's a great way of saving water, which is more and more important, isn't it? With those bills going up, my goodness. Water seems like a luxury item, doesn't it? That we're sprinkling on our gardens. And the thing is in the summer, we're all geared up for having all of these ways of watering. You might even have irrigation systems. You might have all of these weird and wonderful things, but we know in winter it's not working because it's chilly. Okay, and this year has taught us one thing: to be prepared for snow and ice, hasn't it? If you're anything like me, you were not prepared. We're not prepared. Look, now I am prepared. So it's important for us to have all of these things in place. Now, I'm going to show you my greenhouse. What's coming over here for? Do you see this guttering? Oh, look at that. Hello. So what I'm going to do over the next few weeks, I'm going to put a little tube that runs down here of that what's it called? You know the stuff, polyester? No. Poly whatever, right? I'm going to put probably another butt there, or kind of trail it over maybe and have a butt on the other side. I'm not sure yet, but it's important that I'm able to conserve this water, because the catchment of my greenhouse will help keep my plot watered in a hose pipe ban, as we had this summer. and when they turn the water off down the allotment because of the ice and snow. They have to do it. Why? Because they can't have their water pipes freezing. It ruins it for everyone. So I'm going to make sure that I continue to have this resource all sorted. What are you doing in the winter for your water storage? I know some of you guys are getting ridiculous amount of snow and you're looking at my little bit of frost and you're giggling to yourselves, oh my goodness, we had more snow the other day too. But it's important that we all prepare. Another way of saving water in the winter is making sure that your perennials go in the winter. Now, bare root stock, this is what this was last year. This going into the ground in winter means that it will have really good root development, and therefore it won't need as much water in the spring. Genius, isn't it? And it costs you absolutely nothing. So make sure all of your perennial plants go in the winter so that you're using less water come spring. So another way that we're saving water in winter is mulch. Now there's two ways of mulching. This is wood chip mulch, and here I've got horse manure mulch. And this, basically what it does is it reduces the amount of water that we are losing through evaporation, basically. So we are making sure that when spring and summer comes, this is a really big thick layer, and that's what we're doing the whole time we're making beds. All of my beds have a new layer of compost on them so that when it comes spring and summer, etc., we are not going to be worried about water retention. We'll be able to water the ground less because of the mulch on top. Another thing we're doing, we have bulbs growing in the ground. Bulbs are fantastic for saving water because all winter long they're putting out roots that are growing deep into the mulch and deep into the ground, and they're able to use less water come spring when water, and summer when water becomes a little bit more hard to find. So this is a bed that's full of flower bulbs. So not only will these bulbs have a lot of colour for spring, so you need to be using your soil as a reservoir, which means you are setting your soil up in the winter for success. As you can see here, I've got a lovely bed, and it is wet and damp, okay? And the reason that is because not only have I put some horse manure on here, but I've also covered it in a deep bed of mulch. Deep mulch is a great method of keeping all of your soil covered. Another great way to keep your soil nice and covered this time of year is to make sure that you've got something in it. Now, I try to keep my beds as full as possible, as you can see. Roots in the soil will help retain soil structure and will help keep the soil retention of water at its peak. You can use cover crops or you can use overwintering crops. As you can see, deep bedding is the way to go. It's what we're doing here anyway. So if you like stuff like that, then it's a nice easy way of doing it. You do all the work in winter and you won't have to do the work in the summer. That is the key point, okay? Work smart, not hard is my mantra. It really is, guys. Try to keep those beds covered. And if you're thinking to yourself, look, Nick, that's all well and good. You know, you seem to have oodles of time, but I just don't have any. At the end of the day, if all's said and done, you cannot get anything in that soil, then cover it, okay? Cover it. Or sow cover crops. They're amazing for soil retention. And once you've got that as a covered crop in the ground, my love, you can chop and drop, which means that you've got your own mulch layer that is on that soil. How fab is that? It's like it was designed for it, wasn't it? Okay, so it doesn't matter what you're growing, try to get something in that soil, cover it or put a cover crop, okay, and then you'll have lots of ability to save water all summer long. My last tip for you is to check the ground before you water. And if it's wet, you don't need a water. Now in winter, even on a lovely bright day like this, you don't need a water that much. Why? Because if you're watering too much, you're going to have problems with fungus gnats. You're going to have problems with funguses and moulds and mosses growing on your soil. Now, we've all been there, okay? You just want to love your plants to death. Completely understandable. And in summer, you have to water loads and loads and loads. So, in winter, you just don't need to. It doesn't get hot enough. Even on a lovely summery day even, like this, you don't need to water as much as you would think, okay? So make sure you are doing the finger test, and if it's wet, don't water. You're going to hurt them, okay? And it is easy to overwater this time of year. I know, I've done it. I've killed many a plant doing this when I first started growing. And now outside, it's very unlikely that you'll have to water, especially perennials. They're absolutely fine, okay? So give them a minute just to get established and they'll be fine. There's enough water falling from the sky this time of year. Look how beautiful this day is though. So lovely. Thanks for watching, and if you think that you like this sort of programme and you want to have more tips and tricks and follow us along, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Thought we'd talk about water conserve. Hello and welcome to That British Homestead. My name's Nick, and today I thought we'd go through water duck compost. So another way of saving water in the winter. It's genius. You can even save water. It's an aeroplane. It's a lovely day today. You can hear the birds. It's one robin. Just waiting for that plane. That's fine, my lovelies, because I'm stuck.